But it's true. I think that to make Scrum work brilliantly well, you tend to end up doing a lot of what less suggests. And in that respect, I think lots of people do end up falling into less rather than explicitly choosing it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about it.
Yeah, and maybe just to add to that, it's I do notice there is also quite a lot of people who do not end up with less when doing Scrum, and I wondered for a long time how this to be, and then I noticed there is something underneath the understanding of Scrum, which is can be almost opposite to each other, and so in a Scrum community in general, there seems to be so this is also important for listeners to understand. There is a fundamental difference in how Scrum is being perceived. One is about making development go faster. Okay, so delivering stuff faster, and so it's kind of like seeing things as it is in Toyota, meaning it's a factory. Okay, so you need to produce cars, and you measure stuff, and you want to deliver more and more. And so you adopt Scrum to do that. So I kind of explain a little bit of this way of thinking about it. So you see it more or less kind of like as a delivering stuff faster, basically, and hence the velocity and the story points, etc., etc. So the and there's a whole range of other practices which are related to that. And then there is it's a fundamentally different way of looking at things, not to actually do stuff faster. Scrum not meant to be something to actually do things, deliver stuff faster. It's not an objective at all. It's actually the objective is to learn. So it's about learning, and not trying to deliver a lot. And deliver a lot is a kind of like, it's not simply not objective. They may or may not happen, but it's just not an objective. These are quite opposing two different objectives, which I notice more and more in the community. And there's lots of debates and discussion where I notice when people have these opposite views, that the debate tends to go really, can get heated up.
Yeah. And I wonder if some of the heat of the debates is down to people's inability to hold an opinion loosely, or whether both sides are right. I don't know. I mean, I've evolved my thinking over the months and years. Bars said something to me at the beginning of the year that Scrum is a framework for creating great teams, and that was a bit of a light bulb moment for me. I thought, okay, now that adds a new perspective for me. I can see that, because then that helps with the learning aspect. It isn't talking about speed, but also part of this was to outmaneuver the competition. And you don't always know what decisions are the right decisions to make. Well, when do we ever know what are the right product decisions to make? There's always an element of a gamble there. So being able to get something out to have that gamble quickly is really important. But then, but there is, I think it is naive to say that it's naive to say that going fast is good, but it's also naive to say that going fast isn't something that we should aim for, if you know what I mean, because there's so much more to it. Like, we want to go fast, but like the Agile Manifesto says, we want to maximize the amount of work not done. So we want to go fast doing the right things. Objectively, that may be slower than going fast doing the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly. So I found, especially in the context of organizational design and helping organization when they, in the beginning, as you know, in the less adoptions, we try to establish some mutual agreement what organization wants to achieve. And then we, as a less trainers, coaches, help them achieve that. And I found it really, really useful to understand this thinking behind it. So this fundamental idea behind it, how the mental models, these fundamental mental models of how people look at product development. And so it's exactly as you explained, it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of, I found it the most useful aspect of it, understanding that there are different mental models. They are competing with each other. And but they don't need to compete with each other, as you explained, depending on how it's being explained. So indeed, if you do not deliver something fast enough, you're not going to get a feedback. And I sometimes don't use word fast in order to emphasize the difference. Then I say sooner. So you need to deliver something soon enough. So fast implies that you need to deliver a lot in a short period of time. So just to kind of explain the difference so that people understand what exactly am I trying to achieve, essentially. And so this proves to be this lack of discussion on that level, and especially with the management organization, is really widespread. So the whole organizations are adopting agile way of working without really having a discussion on this level, and this is actually can be quite harmful, because you are trying to achieve certain objective and you are not getting it simply because of misunderstanding of that.
Reminds me, I had the conversation I had with Rowan Bunning a number of months ago, and he was saying how important it is to get people aligning on the why of what you're trying to achieve, understanding the what and the how, and at least getting some shared understanding of that. And your choice of the word soon is brilliant. It reminded me of somebody that I met a few times back in the day, a guy called John Smart, who wrote a book called, I'm looking here to my left to see it, Better Value, Sooner, Safer, Happier. And I like the idea of sooner. And I like the idea that this isn't about right or wrong. It's about, it can be both, but it's holding the tension between these things. And that's what organizations seem to struggle with. You know, people are looking for binary answers on some of these things, when actually it's about holding things in tension and trying to get a balance of these things over time. So have teams that learn and get stuff out sooner, and focus on high quality, and focus on reducing the proximity between the teams and the customers, and getting alignment at the beginning is so critical to that. So Viktor, thank you very much. So much useful information. Almost too much for my brain to cope with right now.